We are working it today with Andy Challenger Gray and Christmas, taking a look at rural America and hiring challenges. Good to have you here. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
You're just awesome. All right, so what's the situation? Are people moving to big cities more often now?
Yeah, particularly amongst millennials and even Generation Z, they seem to be really attracted to big cities. And we've seen over the last 100 years, some major changes away from rural areas and towards big cities.
What are the challenges of rural America when it comes to trying to hire top talent?
Yeah, part of it is the next generation really wants to be in big cities because of cultural experiences. Their friends are there. It's closer to big universities in some ways. But there's also in some ways, a bleaker future for job prospects in rural areas.
There are actual surveys, and what did those surveys find?
Yeah, a recent survey said that only 30% of people that lived in rural areas felt excellent or good about their future job prospects, compared to 50% in suburban or urban areas.
What can people who own companies in rural areas do to attract in great employees?
Yeah, it's really important to just make that job as attractive as it would be in a big city. Part of that is compensation.
The pay.
It's a big piece of it. There is lower cost of living often in rural areas, and so that helps, but increasing the pay is a great way to attract people.
What about connecting with colleges and universities?
Yeah, really important. Part of it is getting people from the local community quickly to plant roots and start their careers in the same areas where the universities are. It's a great way to attract new talent, but it's also a good way to kind of make up for, in some ways, that cultural difference. Universities have a great culture around them,
Sure.
and you can get employees to take part in that, and it's a good way to attract them.
Rural areas can be wonderful. I mean, it's a really great lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. There's so much charm about living away from a big city, and there are all these, there's natural attractions. Oftentimes there's festivals or events outside of major areas, and employers need to make sure that they're emphasizing that when they're trying to attract new talent.
You know how it is. We live in a big city, but boy, when you go to a rural part of America, it's like you can feel your blood pressure literally going down and you can breathe again.
Absolutely. There's so many Americans that feel that way, and making sure that increase in happiness that is associated with the jobs that are going to be in those areas.
Happiness is always important. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.